welcome to my video. Today we are at MegaCon Orlando.
It's time for another On the Spot. On the Spot.
When you write for Batman and Joker, do you have any specific voices for them that run through your head?
Absolutely. I grew up on Batman the Animated Series, and I will never stop hearing Kevin Conroy's voice as Batman and Mark Hamill's voice as the Joker. Like, no other voice comes close. I wish I had a more unique answer, but it really is, like, that's the voice for me. Like, they just got it so perfectly.
Yeah, definitely Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill. They are my Batman and Joker. Batman the Animated Series, yeah, they're brilliant.
Why?
Just because it was the Batman that I kind of grew up with as a kid. I mean, yeah, and the Michael Keaton and and Jack Nicholson and stuff. But really, I hear the animated voice is the strongest.
That's what everyone's been telling me, and I can agree.
Yeah, no, it's really common. I think it's true of a lot of comics writers.
When you do art for Batman and Joker, do you have any specific voices for them that run through your head? What's going on in your mind as you draw them?
Well, that's a good question. So, like, one of the more memorable things for me was always the original Batman animated series. So, like, there is no other voice for Batman other than Conroy for me and Hamill for Joker. I actually haven't gotten to... I drew a hologram of Joker in Heroes in Crisis, but I've never got to actually draw a real Joker.
No, I don't think any specific voices go through my mind. But when I draw any character... I try and feel the emotions that they're feeling and how I would act if I was saying the things or doing the things that they're doing. So basically, I'm all of those characters because I'm acting all those different parts, no matter who it is, Batman, Joker, Alfred, no matter who it is. So I'm assuming the role of all those characters. I don't hear a particular voice, but I try and feel what they might be feeling.
Okay. That's a new and different answer. I like that.
Good, great.
I don't have any voices that run through my head. I think what's going through my head, though, is just to try to tell the story the best way that I can. So I'm working on Batman's expression and his body language.
Actually, not so much voices, but I would say there's certain things literally that I'm doing with Joker, especially, that I define as what I need to do to get Joker to present the Joker that I see. And if I do it wrong, I know it. So I'm very specific about certain aspects of the lines between his, for example, right between his lower lid and the cheek and all of this. Sometimes I'm thinking Joker is a guy who's never actually slept. His whole life he's been awake. He's just always the Joker. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, never shuts down. He's the Joker.
I mean, I picture the classic Mark Hamill Joker voice for sure. As far as Bruce Wayne goes, just like the Christian Bale, deep, guttural, kind of I'm Batman voice. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot of voice stuff going through my head when I'm drawing them. It's just more about how I want to draw, which version I want to draw of that character, because there's so many different versions and different looks.
Who is the hardest character from Batman to write for?
That's a really interesting question. Honestly, Bruce Wayne as Batman is a very difficult character just because he is so driven. He is so... the obsession's so deep inside of him. I find it easier to tap into the Batman family and the villains because they kind of wear their emotions a bit more on their sleeve. But Bruce holds it all in to almost a breaking point, but he also doesn't let himself break, which is one of the things I love about him, but it makes it hard sometimes to, it's easier to write another character because you can make them more emotionally vulnerable than you can make Batman. So trying to get the same emotionality out of him without taking him to those moments that's part of the job, and it's tough.
The hardest Batman character to write for, I'm not sure. I tend to, whichever character I'm writing, I make sure I know their voice very, very well when it comes time to write them. So I make sure that I kind of know what I'm doing.
Do you think we'll ever get to see The Long Halloween made into a movie? Why wouldn't DC want to adapt a story like that and Dark Victory into a film, you think?
It's really long, and to adapt it into a 2 or 3 hour movie, they'd have to cut an awful lot of stuff, but they might do it. I don't know. I'm told that they're working on an animated movie of Long Halloween, though. but I don't know anything official about it.
Who's the hardest character from Batman to draw just right?
You know, I don't know if there's a character that I worry about drawing just right, but I'll tell you one character that did give me trouble because I never felt like I found the way I wanted to actually draw, and that was Duke. Duke was a pain in the butt for me, and he frustrated me. I'm sure if I had more time to draw Duke, I would have zeroed in on him, but that was the character that frustrated me probably the most.
The hardest, poison ivy, because of all the leaves.
Females are the hardest for me just because you have to be so precise and take your time on the lines, make sure they're clean, as opposed to like a character like Batman or the Joker or Bane. You can just kind of, it's more organic. You got the cloak, you can hide stuff. It's just a lot easier to get through something like that.
Basically, every woman in the Batman family, with women, I tend to have a hard time, making them more beautiful because I got used to like drawing a lot of tough men.
Catwoman, because I have that perfect.
Are we viral yet? Did it happen?
I think so.
Yeah, we're gonna go viral with that hug.
But I have that perfect Breakfast at Tiffany's Catwoman that Adam Hughes does. That's my Catwoman, and so anytime I can't nail that, I think it really bugs me because he draws it.
Yeah, like man, you can do
like,
a 7 and 8.
There's no better Catwoman than Adam Hughes' Catwoman.
I've yet to encounter anything that I would consider super difficult yet. In the Batman, like in the Rogues Gallery or otherwise, really what you're trying to do is not, is it hard to do it right? It's doing it in a way that people recognize the qualities that they normally associate with a character. But as far as like difficult, not really. They're all the same to me. All the way down from Batman on the way down, they're all pretty well defined, and there's nothing that's really hard about it. It's just making sure you know what's important to the character.
Are there any Rogue Gallery characters you think that are long overdue for a big breakout story arc?
Oh, from the Batman Rogues Gallery?
Yeah.
Oh, well, they're all great. I would be happy to do like any and all of them all at once. They're great. I'm always disappointed that I didn't get to do more Catwoman. Scott always wrote in mostly male characters, but I would love to do something like that. She's a great, interesting character. Or even Ivy. Ivy's another great one, because I've done like a lot of the male ones. Ivy or Catwoman would be cool. Ivy's a very misunderstood character, and, I don't think she doesn't have to be portrayed as an evil character. I think she's could be a hero, really. I think she could be a hero. And of course, Catwoman's always got that flirtatious relationship going with Batman. It'd be fun to play with that stuff too. But if I had my choice between one of those others, it'd be tough to decide. But maybe I would even lean toward Ivy, even though Catwoman has more popularity. Maybe.
You could try to get Ivy more popular.
Yeah, absolutely true. And I know that there's a lot of support for her. There's because I've seen it on Twitter and certain people that tweet to me, and they really care a lot about Ivy, and they don't like that. She's kind of been painted as just a villain and dismissed and not brought to her full potential.
Scarecrow. Scarecrow is one of my all-time favorites, and I think he's due for a very, very big story. I think the fear is such a simple, powerful concept, and it's right at the core of who he is. And I think, I think some of the iterations of him have gotten caught up on, on the fear toxin and seeing a bunch of different, spooky visions and all of that. But at its basis, it's Batman up against a psychiatrist who's trying to understand what makes fear tick, and you have Batman as a hero who's driven by fear, and there is in a certain way there's a way to make him a very piercing villain for Bruce.
One of my favorite Bat villains is Scarecrow, so it would be cool to have a series about him, dealing with fear.
Two-Face, because I think he's a tragic character, just the way that Batman is a tragic character, and so he's got more of a backstory as compared to the Joker, for instance, who really doesn't have much of a backstory, and he's just a crazy killer. But Two-Face has all this other stuff going on in his head that I think is more interesting.
Well, I've just written a Black Mask story. So I'm writing Black Mask #1 for the villains, with Kelly Hamner on art, and Mitch Gerads has done the cover, and it's with Batwoman and Renee Montoya and Black Mask. And what we're doing with him there, he's basically getting an upgrade as a villain.
Nice.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna be excited to see that.
Yeah, no, it's going to be great.
Yes. So me and Tom have talked about this. I feel like Riddler has been used wrong for years. So I want to do like a big, like Da Vinci Code level Riddler story that when people flip the page and they uncover something, their like mind is just blown, because I want it to be something they could have potentially figured out themselves, the reader, but like when they get to it, they realize they couldn't, or they realize that they weren't able to. And
Plot twist.
Yeah, exactly. Like I want people to like get to those last page reveals and pull out their hair and.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I do, but I can't tell you which one because we're using it right now.
Oh no. Can I take a guess?
No, I can't let... You can try, but I'd have to sit here with a poker face and never let you know what I'm thinking. No, I'm just kidding. Freeze. All right?
Well, this is the end for MegaCon Orlando. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me interview amazing people. I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you smash the subscribe button, like and share with all your friends, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!